Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. It seems even the SNP's own supporters realise that they are not going to get any kind of referendum, they're not going to get any kind of allowance. Nobody's going to listen to them. They're never, certainly never, going to get a majority or a mandate to have anything like independence. It's just not there because the vast majority of Scots don't want it. And so what do? What do the mad minority do? Well, they've decided that they're going to do what mad minorities do and make a complete pain in the arse of themselves. Just for a change, I suppose you could say. And so what they're going to do is they're going to do civil disobedience, just like Just Stop Oil and things like that. Do you think that this is actually going to lead to independence or a referendum? Do you think that anyone is going to take you seriously? Obviously not. And indeed, it will make your cause even more reprehensible and even more people will move away from it. So, go and do it. Also, we start to see now the pushback against the Just Stop Oil lot, where people are actually getting out their cards and visiting upon them. Physical attacks. So go ahead. I'd like to see it. Anyway, we'll have a look at this, see what's going on, see why these mad people think that this somehow is a good idea. So, desperate loser nats, it doesn't say losers, but they obviously are, they wouldn't be doing it, plot civil disobedience and Just Stop Oil tactics as indie hopes fade. Fade and evaporate like dew on a morning as the sun rises, because nobody wants it. And so they're going to do this Just Stop Oil type stuff, block roads and whatever. Well, that make a change because it's not as though the SNP are blocking roads. Who are they going to inconvenience? They aren't going to. If they go into the say Glasgow city centre, they're only inconveniencing the rich because the poor can't afford to drive there, can they? Huh? Anyway, with the SNP reduced to a derided de facto indie ref plan, which won't work for three reasons. Radical separatists are now looking towards Extinction Rebellion and similar groups for inspiration, despite a lack of public support. What they need to be doing is treat them like tourists, yeah? These are Terrys through and through. The moment they start doing it, we treat them like Terrys and we arrest them and charge them under that act and then stop them. And if they're getting 5 years, wow, that'll stop day 2. Day 1, we're going to do this. Day 2, he's just been given 5 years, yeah. Ooh. And that'll be the end of that then. Anyway, desperate Scottish nationalists, sad losers, are considering disruptive tactics similar to those used by climate groups like Just Stop Oil. Question, if you just stopped oil, how are you going to live? I love the way, there was the spokesperson for Just Stop Oil there and he was wearing glasses. You know? Lenses. Made of oil. Wearing clothes, he was wearing a jacket and that made of oil. You know, how did he get there? Oh, came with a bus. I mean, honestly, you couldn't make it up, could you? Anyway, they're going to be using these tactics in their bid to push for the breakup of the UK, with the SNP hitting a brick wall and hopes of destroying Britain fading. A Skexit conference at the weekend will explore campaigns like civil disobedience and direct action. Direct action leads to direct consequences. It is inevitable. You know, as soon as night follows day, you do anything like that, people will react. Actions and reactions and all that, cause and effect. And if you really want to go down that route, be prepared because it's going to be a very dangerous route to take, I would suggest. Anyway, the likes of Just Stop Oil and Extinction Rebellion have caused public outcry as they heap misery upon ordinary Brits just trying to go about their business. They've targeted major roads and sporting events as well as politicians, buildings and even works of art in an effort to hasten the move to net zero, which can never happen. They can't understand it because they're very, very simple though, aren't they? Not very bright. However, their actions have gained little public support, but organisers of Radical Independence Campaign conference in Glasgow have decided they could follow suit because they've got literally nothing else. There is nothing else for them. A session is taking place, allowing the independence movement to study the options open to them. Well, acceptance is basically it. You know the 7 stages of seven stages of mourning. You have anger, you have whatever, and guilt, and then you have acceptance is finally there, and that's what they need to get to. It's been led by the Climate Camp Scotland, which blockaded Grangemouth this summer, according to the pro-Skexit Pravda, the National. The group claims the cause of Scottish separatism and the climate movement face a situation where tried and tested ways of organising have run their course and not made a dent into openly hostile British government, and also openly hostile British population who don't want to put up with any of your stupid shit. The group adds, this session by Climate Camp Scotland will offer a short introduction to direct action. What they're basically doing is forming a Terry camp, isn't it? It's a Terry organisation dealing with their tourists, and they need to be treated as such, and the police need to infiltrate, find out who the leaders are, arrest them, charge them with this. The moment they do anything, charge them with it, and bang, and give them 5, 6, 7 years just for planning it. And if anything they do, 20 years. I mean, stick them in Wandsworth for 20 years. That's where they stick them, innit? They'll soon change their tune. Like I say, day 2, let's try something else. The group adds, this session by Climate Camp Scotland will offer a short introduction to direct action, discuss some of the different aims, objectives and theories of direct action, and prepares the grounds for the radical flanks of the independence movement to start using disruptive action against the British state. And the thing is, you can't break up the state, because the moment you try to do it, that becomes treason. You've got to be very careful about what you do. You can talk about independence, that's fine. But you start taking action towards it. Just look at Catalonia. Those guys are looking at 20 years in prison. You know, they were just politicians and they're getting 20 years for what they did. What are you going to get? Among them will be Maggie Chapman, the person who wants to pervert everything, who wants to sexualise children, who likes and pro the murder of babies. There she is. And look, see that little open mouth picture? This is typical. This is the thing, right? That is the soy. That is the wokey. They always have that look. Whenever you look, and you just do loads of pictures, that little mouth open thing. It's a very, very soy thing. I loathe that woman with every atom of my being. She wants to sexualise children. She needs to be on a register because of her views. What she wants to do to children is abhorrent, disgusting, debasing. She is a degenerate piece of human dog shit. I loathe her with everything I've got. And everyone who's right-minded and decent loathes her. Everyone. No one looks at that woman and thinks that's in any way normal. She's not normal. She's mentally deficient. She's stupid and she's dangerous. She also, as I say, promotes and backs Hamas. So she's pro, killing and murder of babies. She's pro the R of women. That's who this woman is. She wants your daughters R'd, murdered, and then have their bodies, abused after death and paraded. Because that's what Hamas do. She's also anti-Semitic. She wants every Jew on the planet, taken off the planet. She's anti-Semitic to an extreme. We know that because she's pro-Hamas, and that's what they want. That's how loathsome this creature is. A creature is a waste of human soul, isn't it? She hasn't got one, of course. She's like some golem formed from mud and given life. Only it wasn't mud, it was dog shit. Formed from dog shit and given life. Anyway, Conservative MSP Annie Wells said it's clear that the most extreme nationalists are prepared to go any lengths to push their independence obsession. The public will have very little time for pro-independence campaigners carrying out the same disruptive tactics that have been used by climate activists. That's right, and they will just get out their cars or whatever and give them a good kicking. If you're sitting there in your car, I mean, imagine you're one of these, because they're all going to be soy as feck, aren't they? They're all going to be like, a little, I'm a level 3 vegan, don't eat anything that casts a shadow and all that bollocks, right? And they're going to be sitting there in the road. Next thing you know, you're going to get some big ass, builder sitting there long enough, and you go, fuck this. He's going to get out, he's going to go up these guys, and he'd literally lump them one. And they ain't going to stop him, are they? They are not going to stop him. And what are the police going to do? They won't be. There aren't any police. There aren't enough police. There aren't enough police to go to a march for the Palestinian lot. There certainly won't be enough police to do this lot. And what's going to happen? These big hairy ass builders and that, and people trying to go about their business, they'll just smash the feck out of them. They'll do it day one, honestly, and then they will have physicality visited upon them, and they won't come back for a second helping. Anyway, the piece of human filth that is Chapman said, In some decades, nothing happens, but in some weeks, decades happen. Since the financial crash of 2008, independence referendum in 2014, oil price crash in 14, and Brexit referendum in 16, it feels like we've had a decade of such weeks. Oh, bless, who gives a shit what you think, you piece of human degenerate scum? And I'm not even going to carry on with her. No, screw her. Like that. If somebody was to do something terrible to her, and I'm not asking anyone to do it, that'd be quite wrong, but if it were to happen, I wouldn't mourn. I tell you I wouldn't. If I found out tomorrow she had the most desolate, awful arse cancer. Cancer of the arse. Although you'd have to work out which end was her arse, because she talks out of both of them, doesn't she? I would just laugh. I'd open the champagne corks if I found she had level 4 arse cancer. Can't abide that woman. I hate the very fact that I'm sharing a planet with someone who thinks the way she does and thinks that what she wants to do to children is virtuous. Anyway, I'll stop there, I'll come up. But yeah, I would love to see the wokey folks sitting there in the road with some big, hairy-ass builder, or shipbuilder off the Clyde, coming down the road. Come on, pal! I tell you, it would take 1 minute, wouldn't it? They would run for their tiny little lives. Pricks. Coming up. It goes to show, though, that the very fact that they're planning this means they've completely accepted that they're not going to get an independence referendum. They've completely accepted that nobody wants independence in Scotland. And they seem to think that by making people's lives a misery, people are suddenly going to join their cause. That basically is an example of how stupid these people are. There is no limit to the stupidity of independent supporters, is there? They really all are room temperature IQ. But there'll be room temperature IQ with a few black eyes, a broken arm, and a sudden realisation that what they're doing is not perhaps the best idea. But they'll discover that on day 2. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I apologise for my rant against Maggie Chapman, but I just cannot abide that woman in any way, shape or form. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and remember, the SNP and their supporters are all morons. Bye.